Now we have a little Bowie garden. Who knows, maybe the soil retains some like an energetic impression or something, and maybe it's still in there, but at the end of the day it just serves as a story, as like a vessel for a metaphor, a history, and serves as like a good vehicle for talking about David Bowie's time basically losing his mind.
How are you?
Good, good.
So, Justin brought me this book here, New World Rights.
I thought that the first art in the entire world is those handprints where they got like red paint and they like blow and it's like an imprint, negative imprint. The hand represents like, almost like I think therefore I am. So the hand is like I am alive. And I thought about how interesting that would be, I guess in a postmodern way, to print the handprint from the original handprint on the cave to the same handprint on the book. Full circle of artistic expression. To kind of set the theme of the book is this old, new kind of coming together. A lot of it is like almost like movie sets and kind of making things more cinematic. So for instance, that's me walking and my friend Victor is the one that took the photo from a distance. Some of them were on self-portrait timer. So I would like click it, run, do the scene, and then come back.
Okay.
For instance, that one I took myself.
Oh wow.
They all have their own unique, I guess, totem. We think we're so beyond, you know, the old world and like animism, yet every cartoon is essentially animism, where we're putting spirits and themes and stories into animals to tell the story of humans. Even though we think we're beyond pagan thought, I'm like, we're so steeped in paganism. In the past, we might see someone as primitive for believing that a bear has a spirit, but it's like we put spirits into teddy bears. So I've definitely leaned into almost anti-intellectual art, anti-theory art, and leaned more into just my natural instincts, and that seems to work for me. I'm obsessed with like lore. I'm obsessed with like the history of things and almost like the psychic impact of things. And so for me, going to David Bowie's, where we're going right now, is David Bowie's old residence in LA, in Hollywood. Even without art, I just get like such a thrill of going there and putting my feet where maybe David Bowie put his feet, and then the story that goes with it, that gives me like a thrill and makes my day, you know, fulfilled. And so I just figure, why not make art about it? We could get some of these flowers. I'll go somewhere like here. Some dirt, some sand. There's like a rose bush. I want to get a rose. Basically, it was like the height of his like rock and roll stardom. I think it was like 1977 he lived there. But anyways, he was highly, highly addicted to cocaine. And all he would eat is red peppers, milk, and cocaine. That's all he did. This was like in his Thin White Duke era. He got really obsessed with the occult, magic and witches and blah, blah, blah. He lived in this house and he would just basically hide away because he was really concerned that it was 2 witches and a warlock were out to get him. And so in that house, he would like put up like pentagrams for protection. He thought like, you know, demons were out to get him. And then we could go to the backyard. Yeah. Because I guess you can hear the pool. And he kept seeing like a black figure like emerge from it. He thought he was like going crazy. And so they called like a white magic witch to come and exorcise the pool. And during the exorcism, David Bowie claims that the whole pool started bubbling like a hot tub, like releasing the demon. We're good. I guess what interests me about American celebrities is that it's like a new religion. It's basically mimics the pagan gods of the old, of the Romans, of the Greeks, and that basically these gods are bigger than life. They, within them, represent a symbol, a story, pitfalls, things that we can carry into our own lives, like these hyperbolic stories. And so for me, it's almost like being in the thick of like a Roman pagan religion and picking our own gods and having it happen organically. For me, it just adds a little bit of spice to life. Plus, I like the music. It just drives the spirit, drives the soul to want to create yourself and want to leave an impact if the people decide that your work is good. Let me just show you. This is all the locations in LA. So we just did David Bowie's LA Haunted Home. So then I could like cross that one off. So we're gonna go Darby Crash Death Location 137 North Fuller Ave. It's like pop culture Indiana Jones in a way. Okay, U-turn. Yeah, just imagine like it'd almost be like a church of all these cubes, and it'd just be like looking through different portals of history.
You're originally from Albuquerque, this area?
Albuquerque, New Mexico, yeah.
Okay.
Probably till about 19 years old, 20, and then moved to Arizona and then LA.
What brought you to LA?
Honestly, art. I was making art in New Mexico, and it's still like, passionate, fun, blah, 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 but it seemed like there's a dead-end road. And there's a certain point where you want to make art and you want people to see it, and like-minded people. So that was the main decision. But I just really enjoy the day-to-day life in LA. Like every day I wake up and it's nice, pretty, flowers everywhere.
Melina Kai Rogers.
That was my grandfather. This was all dedicated to him and everything he taught me.
Yeah.
He was like grandfather, but also like a spiritual mentor. Our relationship was like Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. He always had me doing weird things, weird journeys, and weird practices. Like little things. I remember waking up in the morning to him putting a bumblebee on my hand, and I woke up and there's just a bee on my hand. He's like, I'm gonna leave, you make peace with the bumblebee, and then when you're done making peace, then we could get breakfast. And then I kind of knew what he meant. I was like, oh, I guess he wants me to not be afraid. So then I wasn't afraid and came to him and went outside like, look, we're friends. And then the bumblebee jumped on like this pillar, and then a bird came and snatched it instantaneously. So he was like, the bird ate your fear. The bee stole your fear, the bird ate the fear, and now your fear is getting transferred and transmuted. So they're all on different channels too. This one is like more treble. That one is very like bassy. It's like louder. It's more harsh. I'll show you the back of it. That's the back side. I like that even without seeing them, you could close your eyes and experience the art. You don't even need to have your eyes open, but there's this added element, if you're looking at them. In modern America, like a speaker is like it's very indicative of individualism. I want to be known. I want to be loud. I want to like have my version of reality outspoken. So like you can be really annoying. Like these people are minding their business, but now I'm invading their space. Now like my expression, the songs I like are now. Now this guy gets to hear this. You know what I mean? Hear my expression. This is me. Like now you have to hear it because like I'm so me. And so I thought like I want to make speakers that like that strip the animal away from like its original symbolism that many cultures decided an owl is wise or an owl would hoot. But like in my version of it, you make an owl speaker and you make it play whatever you want. But that's very much what postmodern reality has come to be, where nothing has like a defined future, anything is like subjective. So I had that in mind with the animal speakers, that like they become these subjective amplifiers of the individual and not of a distinct reality that everyone can kind of agree upon. I did tell myself like I should have this much, I guess, motion by a certain year. Like I think I looked at like the 27 Club, like when Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, when they all died, I had this weird magical number of 27, that by 27 you should have some things in motion, and if you don't, you might as well quit. So after I turned 28, I had to like really think to myself, like, what am I doing in my life? Do I have the quote-unquote success or motion that I thought I was going to have? And the answer was no. So then I had to reckon with myself, like, do I even enjoy art? And I was like, I do. I was like, then there's no reason to ever quit, but I should go back to college. So around 28 is when I went back to college, and just been doing both. I figure I have enough energy and enough time in my life to balance both. So far it's worked out.
Hey everyone, and thank you for watching our film with Justin Guthrie up until here. If you enjoyed this film or our other films that we're making at Hometown Journal, then please consider supporting us. In the description below you find a couple of links guiding you straight to our other projects. For example, the 4th episode of our print magazine, The Way Home, which is a philosophical quest trying to understand the meaning of the way home. And this question or this search is articulated and seen through the eyes of artists from all over the globe with whom we have spoken over the last 2 years. And their stories are now to be found in the new episode of our print magazine. We would highly appreciate if you check it out. But for now, I send you straight back to the film with Justin Guthrie.
So now we're coming up on the house Darby Crash famously passed away in. It's actually this one. So Darby Crash was in this band called The Germs, and they might be the best example of Los Angeles punk rock. He was only 22 when he died, even though he seemed a lot older and wiser. He started like a whole semi-religion. He had this thing called like forget the exact name, but it's like the cigarette club. What happened is him and his buddy put a cigarette out on their arms. To join that lineage, either him or his buddy had to burn other people with cigarettes, and then whoever was burnt by the cigarette from the original Darby Crash and his friend got to burn other people. And it became like this like secret club, almost religious like initiation.
Feels like I'm learning a lot of history here today.
Oh yeah, well I'm a nerd, so there will be a lot more. Cool, so yeah, we're at Darby Crash's, his friend's house, this girl named Casey. Basically they made a death pact that they were both gonna die together that night. They're both gonna take a hot shot of heroin, and she survived and he died. And it was at this house, which was her mother's house. And they both basically passed away in like a part of the house that was a garage that got converted into a room. So we're gonna go and get some grass, I believe, right next to the converted garage. I guess I'm just gonna get as like close as I can to like the corner and then just get some if you wanna follow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Darby Crash. When I was 16, I had a pretty traumatic acid LSD experience where I had a horrible acid trip with a friend. It took me like 2 years to get out of it. Like I was sane going to school, but like holding on to the fringes of life, like, oh my God, I'm losing it. And only through therapy was I able to get out of it. And then I really leaned into Carl Jung. What I felt like I was dealing with is more of a spiritual ailment and a psychological ailment. It was like this mixture, and Jung, I feel like, bridged that gap of spiritual and psychological. What I was dealing with, it felt like this overwhelming existential crisis that like the world is evil, almost seeing only the negative in the world. And with Carl Jung, it helped me like feel that's a part of the world, but that is not the world. Everyone can commit evil. It doesn't make you evil. And so for me, Jung really kind of helped me process that part of me. That this is my studio. It was almost like the acid clicked on this like, I guess I've entered the dark side of the world and I'm never getting out. And through Jungian, I was able to come out, and then it started to shape every single art piece I made. So a lot of my art is about archetype and about like the symbols that are almost eternal, that like occur through history over and over and over, like the hero's journey, all these things that repeat themselves that seem not only like a construct of reality, they almost seem deeper, like they're a part of the material reality that's in our brains, almost like how a giraffe is born and knows how to walk. It's almost like these archetypes are just in us and we express them. Yo, how you doing?
I'm a puppy.
Hey,
Oh
puppy!
my gosh. You just found this?
On the street last night, I tripped on him and don't keep this guy.
Holy cow.
Such a sweetie. Yeah. My phone died. I was downtown. I had to get back here.
Yeah.
So like 1 o'clock at night, I walked back through Skid Row. I was like, this is so sketchy.
Yeah.
And I tripped on it. I thought I saw a rat like down the block.
Yeah.
And then I saw this guy and I basically tripped on him and then he just followed me for a couple blocks.
Wow.
And then he started dragging his butt. I picked up and carried him here.
Are you gonna keep it?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
This is the sweetest dog ever.
You're gonna keep the dog?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Nice.
I've always wanted a dog.
Okay, so this is my studio. This is where this kind of plywood layered painting started. That's Monument Valley in Arizona at night. So just kind of like playing with like mysticism and the myth of America, maybe what came before America. There's just something very spiritual and special about the Monument Valley. But during the day, it's a tourist attraction. But at night, it retains and regains its beauty and mystique. So I was like, I want to do Monument Valley at night, the time where the tourists leave and it comes back to its true form.
A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night, and just to sprinkle stardust and to whisper, go to sleep, everything is all right.
A lot of the work I do is found imagery, and I kind of felt not burdened, but beholden by what I found to make art. So I was like, I really want to find a practice where I can make my own art through my own ideas and not rely on anything. So this is my attempt at making a painting practice, but in a sculptural way. Because I love woodworking and it's familiar to me. So this is what I came up with as like an answer to painting, an answer to sculpture, and still implementing this kind of Jungian shadow archetype kind of themes into my work. So yeah, it's just the American shadow and themes and archetypes, good and bad. These are all scary, but I'm working on other ones that are also not as like dark and conspiratorial and shadowy.
So as our day is coming to an end, and we haven't really had time to go to the LA River, which I'm actually quite interested in because the works you created from those findings really seem intriguing to me. I think they say a lot about what we throw away or what just ends up in the environment, in nature, pretty much about what we humans create. And it doesn't seem like, if I can say that, it doesn't seem like necessarily a critique or something. It feels more like an acknowledgement of what's out there, what we produce, what also the beauty of maybe those objects itself, like an appreciation almost for those pieces.
I feel like you're spot on, because after it was all said and done, people were talking about more the environmental angle and about, like you said, the critique. And that was never my intention. It was just basically walking up and down the LA River during the pandemic to pass time. And it started with it was like a little toy with two people on a motorcycle. It was like neon colored, and at the time I had like a crush on this girl who was like a dirt biker, and I was like, oh, interesting. that reminds me of that. Oh my God, that's kind of funny. And so I picked it up. I was like, I like that. I want to keep it. And then kept walking and started. It's almost like it turned my mind on. Like there's a lot of weird things in this river that's hyper personal. Not just like a Coke can or leftover trash or leftover food. It'd be like graduation photos, VHSs, cassette tapes, car keys, books, things of that nature. It's like a thrift store. Like, oh, I haven't thought about that since I was 7, or oh my God, I used to watch that movie. Or like for one, it was like a Pink Floyd cassette tape. And at the time I was listening to like Pink Floyd a lot. I was like, oh my God, serendipity. So then it became an obsession.
I closed my eyes, then I drift away into the magic night. I softly say a silent prayer.
And then now it's art.